called the AC method, and it uses grouping to factor numbers. So if we have something like this, 6x squared plus x minus 2, we can look at the terms, and we're going to look at it's called the AC method. We're going to look at those A and C terms, and we're going to multiply them together. That gives us a negative 12. So if we can think of two numbers that we can multiply together to get negative 12 that can equal a positive 1, which is the B of that term. Say what? Yeah, so 4 and 3 are correct. So we're going to rewrite it with those as the B terms. We're going to split the B term into two different terms. So we'll have 6x squared, and then in order for it to be a positive 1, then it has to be a 4x and a negative 3x. So you see how 4x and negative 3x still equals a positive 1? So that's our goal. Is we're not changing it. We're not changing the actual value, but we're kind of pulling it apart so that we can group it. Okay. So now that we've done that, we're going to try to factor out some things so that we can make this into two different factors. So if I look at 6x squared plus 4x, I could factor out a 2 and an x from that. So that would leave me 2x on the outside, and then that would leave me 3x plus 2 on the inside. And then if I factor out a negative 1 here, then that would also leave me 3x plus 2. Well, do you notice that that means I have a 3x plus 2 in this term and in this term? So I can factor the 3x plus 2 out. So that would be a factor over here. And then that would leave me with 2x minus 1. So my two factors would be 3x plus 2 times 2x minus 1. And if I multiplied these together, I would get that original quadratic 6x squared plus 4x. I'm sorry, that original quadratic, I didn't pull down far enough. 6x squared plus x minus 2. Kaylin, does that make a little bit of sense? Okay.
Yes.
All right, so let's try another one. So
I have a quick question.
Yes.
So what did you do for the B term for that
So this B term is positive 1x, right? So I rewrote it in a combination that equals a positive 1x if you add it together.
Oh, okay.
And the way that you know where to start looking for that is it has to, if you multiply it together, equal whatever the A and the C term is multiplied together is.
Okay. That makes sense.
Okay. All right, so let's look at the next one. 2x squared minus 7x minus 15. Okay, so this is going to be a negative 30, right? So what two numbers could we add together that multiply to negative 30 but add to negative 7? So 15 and 2 is not it. 5 and 6 is not it. What else equals 30? 3 and 10. So if I can, and I can write these down, right? 5 times 2 is not it. 5 times 6 is not it. But 10 times 3, if I subtract 3 from 10, that does equal 7. So I could rewrite this as 2x squared. And then for this to be a negative 7, this is going to be a negative 10x. And then this has to be a positive 3x. So see that negative 10 and that positive 3 equals a negative 7. So I haven't changed the value. Then I can factor by grouping. So I can look and see what these numbers have in common. Well, those first two numbers have a 2 and an x in common, so I can factor those out. So that would be 2x on the outside, and that would leave x minus 5 on the inside. And then 3x, or 3 and 15, have a 3 in common. So I could say, could factor the 3 out, and that would leave me with an x minus 5 here. Now, this term and this term have x minus 5 in common, right? So I can factor out x minus 5, and that leaves me with 2x plus 3. Does that make sense? Okay, let's do another one. Got to rewrite this one in the correct form first. So I'm going to make this positive 6x squared minus 5x minus 6 equals 0. And that means that when we get to the end, since this is has an equal sign in it, we're actually going to solve for x with this one too. Okay. So my a and c term, if I multiply those together, would be negative 36. So 6 and 6 are not it. What else equals? 12 and 3 is 36. 18 and 2 is 36. 9 and 4 are 36. So it's going to be 9 and 4, right? To get 5 in the middle. So 6x squared minus 9x plus 4x minus 6 equals 0. I can factor out 3's and an x from the first term, the first two terms. So that's going to be 2x minus 3. And then I can factor out a 2, which would give me 2x minus 3 here. So my two answers, I'm going to have 3x plus 2, and I'm going to have 2x minus 3, right, equals 0, because I'm going to factor those out. So 3x plus 2 equals 0. Is going to be x equals a negative 2/3. And 2x minus 3 equals 0. Is going to be x equals 3/2. So my two answers are going to be a negative 2/3 and a positive 3/2, because you have to go ahead when it has an equal sign and solve for the x. Okay. All right. Do you want to give the practice problems a try? All right. Go ahead and do it. I'll put them up on the board for Maddie. Oops.